So coming to the aspergillosis. So aspergillus organisms can involve or can cause pathology in the respiratory tract as ABPA, which is an allergic hypersensitivity reaction. Next, it can cause an allergic asthma due to aspergillus, or it can cause allergic aspergillus sinusitis. Apart from that, we know about the invasive aspergillosis also, right? So the allergic conditions are these three. So pulmonary aspergillosis is where the parenchyma is involved. Asthma is only the involvement of airways, or the aspergillus can involve only the sinus. So it can be like a complete airway or complete respiratory tract involvement with the sinus involvement can be seen in aspergillosis. So now moving on to the epidemiology, we need to know how common ABPA is. So there are many worldwide studies, but I have quoted two studies from our country, one study from AIIMS and another study from PGIMR. So the study from AIIMS reported ABPA in children with cystic fibrosis around 18.2%. Okay, a study from PGIMR reported the prevalence of ABPA and allergic sinusitis. Right, so ABPA was reported around 26%. So it is being frequently reported nowadays. So now moving on to the causative organisms. So among the aspergillus group, as I have already mentioned, Aspergillus fumigatus is the most common cause. So other species of Aspergillus, we know Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus flavus, etc. They can also cause ABPA. So apart from Aspergillus, we know there are so many fungi, isn't it? We know about the Candida species, the Stemiphylium, Helminthosporium, or other species of fungi can also invade the lung parenchyma and the airway involvement. So when other fungi involvement is seen, that is collectively called as a allergic bronchopulmonary mycosis. Okay. Here, if only Aspergillus involvement is there, we call it as allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. When other fungi are involved, it is called as allergic bronchopulmonary mycosis. So among these allergic bronchopulmonary mycosis, Candida albicans is the most common cause, right? So you have to understand that there are two allergic reactions, that is allergic hypersensitivity reactions to the fungi. Okay. So now moving on to the pathophysiology. Exactly the pathophysiology is not understood, but there is already a susceptible individual, and once these aspergillus or the other fungi, so these organisms, they affect these susceptible individuals, the T helper 2 cells, the CD4 plus T helper 2 cells along with their set of cytokines, they play an important role in pathogenesis. Aspergillus causes this ABPA only in susceptible individuals. So already pre-activated epithelium, they will go and adhere to the pre-activated epithelium. So which means either it could be asthmatics, it could be cystic fibrosis, or it could be some immunodeficient state also. And these aspergillus will then start growing as hyphae along the bronchial or bronchiolar epithelium. So this is the bronchiectasis image, CT imaging showing the bronchiectasis. This is actually a cylindrical bronchiectasis as you can see, right? Cylindrical pattern. So there are multiple types of bronchiectasis based upon the imaging. So this is a cylindrical one, okay. This is varicose. So you can see the varicosities here, right? This is cystic. So cyst-like structures along the bronchi. So these are the various types of bronchiectasis. Cylindrical bronchiectasis is seen in allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, and most often it is central bronchiectasis. Okay, in the central part, the bronchiectasis is more clearly visualized. Okay, so one is cylindrical bronchiectasis, right? Central involvement is there, central airways is involved, so central bronchiectasis. Second, third, predilection towards upper lobes. Okay, so if the examiner asks you what is the specific type of bronchiectasis that you see in ABPA, you will have to tell an upper lobe bronchiectasis with cylindrical pattern, involvement of the central airways. So these three you have to mention, right? So let's move ahead. So what are the clinical features of ABPA? And for this, so you know that you are following a child with cystic fibrosis, or you are following a child with asthma, for example. So these children, when they have an exacerbation, Say for cystic fibrosis, we have talked in that particular presentation also. When there is an exacerbation, so suddenly the child is starting to have systemic symptoms. There is fever, there is weight loss, there is increased cough. So there is, when you suspect there is an exacerbation, you have to think of ABPA also. So in a child who is asthmatic, who is well controlled, now suddenly the child has started wheezing again, and along with that there are many constitutional symptoms like fever, weight loss, etc. And particularly expectoration, when the sputum may consist of these brown plugs. Okay, so these brown plugs are very specific for ABPA. And apart from that, any respiratory distress, the child has increasing cough, they can have dyspnea, chest pain, hemoptysis also. So all these can be features which are seen, and when you examine this child, there can be wheeze, there can be crackles which are of new onset. Previously well child, now suddenly developed wheeze and crackles. If it is a chronic condition, then it follows recurrent exacerbations. We know that cystic fibrosis has recurrent exacerbations due to many organisms colonization, isn't it? So in chronic condition, we know it follows recurrent